Okay, Donovan Dooley is a columnist for the sports website Deadspin. He joins us from Tuscaloosa, Alabama. Thank you so much indeed for joining us. They always said that sport and politics don't mix, but they certainly do now.
Yes, they certainly do. One of the things that we're seeing now as the nation unfolds, and one of the most unprecedented movements that we've ever seen in this time in our country, is that these athletes, you name some of them, LeBron James, Naomi Osaka, who just recently won the US Open, and a myriad of other different athletes are using their platform to be able to get the message out that Black lives do matter and that they are not going to stand for these racial injustices, and they're not going to stand for these levels of oppression and inequality any longer. And one of the things that has become new to many Americans here in this country is that these athletes are some of the ones leading the forefront. They are no longer going to be pawns and just play and be entertainment for many people in this country now. They're going to be advocates, and they're going to be activists, and they are going to lead and try to bring this nation into a new millennium, into a new age of equality.
Donovan, why do you think it's taken so long for these superstars, multimillionaires who live a life of privilege to speak out against what's been happening for so long? I mean, we're running a list of there are more than 150 names of African Americans who have died since 1968 alone. You could go far, far further back and come up with hundreds and thousands of names, presumably. It's taken this long. Why so long? Were they scared of their sponsors, scared of their franchises?
I don't believe that some of these athletes were scared of their sponsors or scared of their franchises. You have to think, athletes have been at the forefront of these movements for a while now, even going back to 1968 in the Olympics when you had Tommy Smith and John Carlos raising the Black Power salute at the Olympics in 1968. That was in front of the whole world to see. You saw Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Bill Russell, Jim Brown, probably some of the largest Black sports stars ever at the Cleveland Summit in the late 1960s to support Muhammad Ali as they fought for social activism during that time as well. And even if you want to bring it closer back to the early 2010s and in this generation here, you see LeBron James has been using his platform for a while now, speaking up against the wrongful deaths of so many African Americans in this country. The WNBA have been stalwarts in this fight and in this cause for a while now as well. And so this is not the first time that many athletes are stepping up to the forefront. This is actually just a culmination of a long time where you have a lot of injustice going on in this society.
Very good point you make. And obviously social media amplifies the platform so much more. What about the responsibilities of the sporting bodies themselves, of the franchises? Many people have said that it's pretty hypocritical of them how they've almost turned full circle from having been at best uncomfortable, at worst actually stopping their employees from expressing these sort of political opinions. And now they're, oh, bring it on. BLM is part of what we are.
Right. I definitely think that's a point that needs to be addressed. I think it's admirable for these leagues to now want to back and support their players. However, you do have to criticize them for being so late to the party here. I mean, the NFL just recently addressed the issue of Colin Kaepernick kneeling in 2016 by saying Commissioner Roger Goodell said in a video that he apologizes for not listening to their players sooner when they were protesting about these social injustice matters. And so that is a topic that you need to talk about. It needs to be discussed. Like, where were these organizations at the forefront? The NBA, I will say, has always been at the forefront of these issues. When you're talking about the death of Eric Garner, they were speaking out against that, implementing different social movements and implementing different things that were allowed to be able to help these players express themselves in that time with his unjust killing. But other leagues, MLB, NFL, MLS, it runs the gamut. These leagues are now coming to the forefront now, but you have to ask the question, where were they at that time?
Do you think it's going to make any difference? I mean, do you think that with LeBron James using the hashtag more than a vote, with George Floyd's family saying that, look, whatever's happening, there's only one solution: get out there and vote. So the vote comes up on November the 3rd. In terms of your interaction with sports fans, do you feel as if athletes being part of the Black Lives Matter movement is going to push people to get out there and vote for the change that they want?
I definitely think that's going to help. When you have to look at American culture, the athlete itself is such a huge part of American society. And you have a lot of people that really look up to these athletes and try to embody everything that these athletes are. So if you have LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, and a myriad of other people that are voicing their opinions and voicing their willingness to go out and vote on November 3rd, then you're going to see a lot of people follow behind that and rally behind that. However, it's not just for these athletes. It's going to take everybody in this country to effectively bring change to this nation. And the athletes are doing an excellent job of being at the forefront of it, but we still got to follow behind them. And people in this country still have to follow behind them if we want to achieve change.
Donovan Dooley, thank you so much for joining us. Donovan Dooley speaking from Alabama.